Is this thing on? Alright, cool. Hey guys, it's Isaac Barraza here with my mom. What's your name?
Ana Cortez.
Ana Cortez. Okay. Ana Cortez. Today I'd like to ask you a couple questions on your favorite poem. Now, before you said that it's not a poem, but it's a psalm from the Bible, correct?
Yes.
Can you say the name of the psalm?
It's Psalms 91.
Psalms 91. Okay. And you have it ready, right?
Yes, I have
Okay.
it ready.
So if you could please tell them if you could read it to them, please.
Okay. Psalms 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God who I trust. Surely He will save you from the formless snake and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wing you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, not arrow that flies by day, not the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, not the plague that destroys at the
Okay. Is this thing on? Alright, cool. Hi guys, this is Isaac here doing my poem project with my beautiful and lovely mom. Say your name, please.
Ana Cortez.
So today I'm going to be asking my mom about her favorite poem. And this poem is special because it's a deeper meaning and it has a story behind it. So if I could have you please read your poem. Actually, well, before she goes, it's a poem, but it's also a psalm from the Bible. So I hope you guys like it. Go for it.
It's Psalms 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. He will cover with His feathers, and under His wings He will find refuge. His faithfulness will be shield and wrap. You will not fear the terror of night, not the arrow that flies by day, not pestilence that stalks in the darkness, not the plague that destroys at the midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hands, but it will not come near you. You will not observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, the Lord is my refuge, and will make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no distress will come near to your tent, for He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that will not strike your foot against the stone. Because He loves me, said the Lord, I will rescue him, I will protect him, for he acknowledged my name.
Wow. So I noticed that psalm had a lot of love in there. There was a lot of just directed towards you. Did this happen? What did this poem mean to you? What part spoke out to you in this poem?
I think the whole part. My grandma brought it to me when I was probably 6 years old. I didn't know what that means, any of those words. I put it in my room.
Like a poster?
Like a poster. Okay. It was a little poster. So I just read it every morning that I get up, but doesn't have no meaning to me. I continue with the story? Or?
Yeah, so okay. Where were you living during this time?
I live in Mexico City.
Uh-huh.
The place that I live, it was a building, 5 floors.
Five floors?
5 floors.
Okay.
Floors. And I live all the way in the top.
Okay.
Not in the 5, in the 6th one on the roof.
Okay.
They have houses there. Mm-hmm. And I was living there with my mom and my 3 other brothers.
Mm-hmm. And so, what happened? What happened that made this poem more significant to you?
It was September 19, 1986, I think. It was the airport in Mexico. I was lived there. I was ready to go to school. My mom was doing my hair. And then all of a sudden everything was shaking. I didn't know what happened in that moment. So my mom brought us to our room. and then she brought my brothers and sisters, and she covered and be on top of them and try to cover them. I was like laid, and I was looking at the wall, and I saw these signs that they say like,
You saw the poster?
I see the poster, and they say like, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. And then I say like, who is this Almighty? But if you are Almighty, I need you in this moment. I need you to be here present with me, with my family, with my mom. I didn't know what was happening in that moment. I just know everything. I feel the building that where we're living in that moment feels like moving like this, like go back and down.
Do you remember like the magnitude of the earthquake?
Yes, no, I don't remember.
Like 5.0, 6.0 or something?
I don't remember. I think it was
8.0.
8.0. I don't remember exactly. But I was living in the epicenter of this earthquake.
Oh, wow.
And so I just remember to repeat this and this verse all over and over that says like, if I go under his wing, he will protect me. And a girl for having 6 years didn't understand many of this, because if you see, this poem is a lot of, it's like a poem, a lot
of figurative language. It's detailed and really deep.
Yes, and I didn't understand what exactly that means. So when this earthquake finished, we survived. We get out, and like I mentioned before, it was
5 stories high.
5-story high, but we live in not in the 5, we're living in the 6, which was the roof. And they have, we can see the whole city from outside because we live all the way in the top, and they have some houses all the way there. So we can see the city, and when we go outside, my surprise, it was no buildings around us. Around us, there were buildings, big buildings around where we live, and I didn't see anything.
So you're saying that yours was like the only building standing, and all the rest were like just...
There were some other ones up, but the most that I always see, they were not there anymore. We start looking at everyone, police, sirens, and all kind of traumatic things. People screaming, yelling, like
crying,
fire, like a lot of things. I didn't understand exactly what happened. So my mom responded, it was like, we have to go see my father. We want to see what happened to my brothers. They live probably like 3 or 4 blocks down from where we live. So we just get ready and we leave in that moment. It was a lot of panic when it's something in that major and catastrophe, you know. So we went all the way to my grandpa's house, and we didn't find him. Nobody at my grandpa's house was there, but a little by little, like half an hour, everybody started coming. My grandpa, my aunts, my uncles, then my father also came. My father wasn't living that time with us, so he came to see us too.
So everyone kind of like united.
Yes, we always
was there. Anyone hurt?
So no, but I'm surprised nobody had got hurt. My grandpa was in that moment at the hospital. It's a huge hospital, and he was on the cardiologist specialist. And when the earthquake started, he just get up and start walking away from there.
Wow.
My surprise, or his surprise, it was that part fell. It was also the part of the liver and the women had the babies fell from the same hospital.
Wow.
And he was able to get out and be alive. My aunt also, when she came, she was so terrified because she says that she was on like a kind of taxi, and then when she was there, they saw buildings coming up, and she tried to get everybody to stop and try to get out, but she gets kind of stuck, or I don't know, somebody help her, and then also the building in front of her fell. She also been saved, and a lot of panic in that moment, but all my family was safe. then when my father came, he started telling us, oh, everybody, my uncles, my brothers, my sisters, they're fine. And where the area they live, it was not so much. In Mexico City, in the epicenter, where there was more damage.
Mm-hmm.
So my father's family, they live in the surrounded outside areas.
Cities. Okay.
So my mom decided to your finger, Elena. My mom decided to go with my father's family, so we stayed there. So, but it was a lot of panic, a lot of tragedy, and.
So, would you say like that throughout all this mess and chaos and disaster going on, would you say that this poem, this verse, like, you know, gave you something to hold on to, like it comforted you, even though like the worst that could possibly be happening was happening right at this moment, but you still felt like, you know, at ease or something because of this verse as well?
Yes, I get in the middle of this chaos. My mom, my father couldn't explain to me exactly what's going on, because we all in that point we live in terror.
Mm-hmm.
After that day,
you guys are like traumatized, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but the worst thing is like aftershakes, they're still coming,
right.
And we still have the earthquake. We still have everybody in panic.
Mm-hmm.
So it was for a long period of time. It was really terrifying, because then people started like searching for people to survive.
Mm-hmm.
People who survived, a lot of death, a lot of damage. We couldn't go back to our building. The building was like impossible to live. They didn't fail, but the building was like kind of like size,
Uh-huh.
and it was dangerous for us to go back and go and live there.
Okay.
So yeah, it was kind of really chaos. But after a year, my mom decided to go and visit my grandma, and we decided, me and my brother, we want to live in there. So when we started living in there, my grandma took us to church, and when we've been there, I discovered something. I discovered that people was reading the Bible, and then through there, one day I found out not just only the verses that my grandma gave it to me, I also found out the whole chapter, which has more meaning to my life, because if you see it in one of the verses, it says that the nothing that will come is going to destroy you. If it's like a pestilence, or if it's like people will be dead from one side, God will deliver, or this mighty God will deliver me. And also if they go 10,000, there will be like, He still will be there with me and deliver me. So not only that, I discovered that this mighty God, even though I didn't know nothing about Him, I didn't know Him, I didn't worship Him, I didn't praise Him, He loved me. He loved me even though I'm not even His follower. So when I discovered that, I gave my life to Him, and I started seeing Him like my God, my guidance, my shelter, my protector. And this verse, or this Psalms, this poem, it's been alive in my life during all my years of life, because I've been see how God been protecting me, how I see how God guided me in my circumstances, in my adversities in my life, when I have my kids, when I marry, when I moved to this country. He was still that mighty God. That one day I cried to Him and I tell Him, I need you. I don't know what's going on, but you would answer me. And He still answers me to today. I call Him and I tell Him, I don't know what's going on with this new trial. I don't know what's going on. Had to handle things with my kids. Had to handle things with my marriage. How do I deal with things that happen on the world. Mm-hmm. And He still answered. He still guided me. He still protect me. Not only me, now my kids. And I think that's why this Psalms is so much significant in my life, and so much power, because we're not talking about that it's just a poem. We're talking about a person they become real in my life. And when I call and cry for help, he would answer, and he still answered. Since when I was a little girl, and now that I'm a grown-up woman with my husband, my kids, my marriage, and now, so I'm trying to teach that to my kids. And ta-da!
Thank you.